Today, I'm going to show you how to use Mirus to evaluate the performance of your area supervisors. As a background, we're going to imagine that I'm a zone director and I have 2 area supervisors that report to me. This is a ranking report looking at the different metrics that I want to evaluate my 2 area supervisors on. I have Dale and Steph as my area supervisors. Each area supervisor has a different state that they are responsible for. Of course, each state has a state manager and a hierarchy of store managers that report to those state managers. The first metric I'm going to look at is food costs. Here I have a food cost rank which I'm going to sort on to see who has the best food cost. Notice Texas is number 1, they are under 3,000, and notice that Kentucky is number 7 because they have used over 1,300 based on their allocated budget for food cost. Once I remove the sort on the food cost rank, I'm going to go to the next metric, which is cash over and short. If you notice when I hover, you'll see the calculation for how I get cash over and short, which is basically the actual deposit minus the expected deposit. As you can see here, Ohio is ranked number 1 because they have the least amount of cash over and short. And then moving down the line, you'll see the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th, all the way down to the 7th ranked state, which is Texas, because they are short $300. The next metric is overtime percentage of total hours. And if you hover over the overtime percent over total hours, you'll see that it's overtime labor hours divided by the total labor hours. Sorting on the rank, you'll see that Ohio is number 1 because they haven't used any overtime hours, which is great. That's the goal. And then just skimming off the top and hovering to see the different values, especially the last ranked state, which is Wisconsin. I'll notice that even Wisconsin is only using 21 overtime hours, and that's the entire state rolled up for the entire week. So that's not a really bad number. That's actually, overtime hours looks really, really good across all states right now. Moving on to the next metric, which is drive-thru times and average drive-thru times. A good number is basically about a minute, having a drive-thru time of a minute. On average, most stores have a drive-thru time from like 3 to 10, and anything above 10 or 15 is just ridiculous. So here, what I notice off the bat, which is the last ranked state, which is in Dale's area, is North Carolina. And North Carolina has an average drive-thru time of over 25 minutes. As Dale's zone director, I'm fully aware of North Carolina's struggles and his game plan for that. But if I was not aware, then that would be a conversation I would have with Dale during his performance review. Moving along to the next metric, which is labor dollars, I'm going to look at the top ranked state for labor dollars, which is Texas. Labor dollars is the actual labor dollars subtracted by the scheduled labor dollars. So you can see that Texas was actually number 1. They used about 37,000 less than what they were slated to use. And the last ranked state is North Carolina because they used 6,900 more than they were scheduled to use. This brings me to the overall rank. So using these ranks, the overall ranked state is actually Ohio, which is in Dale's area. And you can see that it had a number 1 in cash, it had a number 1 in overtime percentage, it had a number 1 in drive-thru times. And so that's why it's the number 1 state out of all of the states. And the last ranked state is North Carolina. It had a number 7 because it was the last in labor, the last in average drive-thru time, and it was lower with cash over and short as well as overtime percent. And that also belonged to Dale as well. So comparing the different states and their rankings compared to each other, I can see that Dale has top performers as well as the bottom, and Steph has 2 states that are just in the middle. After looking at this performance ranking report, I'm able to have a better idea of how each area supervisor is managing their states and their stores and the different metrics for their performance review. Thank you for watching this video on how to use Mirus for performance ratings. For more information, visit www.mirus.com.